next one is that. I just had to. I mean, this was my favorite one when I first saw it, and I still think that I love the transition. You know, that is not the death card is not the big old, horrible thing that's gonna happen. It's going to happen to everybody. So we cannot, even though I have issues with that too, but we cannot pretend we are never gonna die. That's transition is going to happen to all of us, but it doesn't have to mean that we're not enjoying life or we're not making the best out of what we have. And that itself is not this scary monster. It's just part of life that for some reason we decided we're gonna pretend as a society, and human beings. If you look around, we took out being sick, or the birth and the death and being sick all happens in hospitals. And there's a lot of people who talk about it, that it's not good for us because we don't witness these things, and when it happens to us we just don't know how to deal with them because we're not used to seeing dead people. We're not used to, I'm not saying you should go and look at them, but when back in the days, when someone was dying, they were dying back at home, and the whole family had time and space to deal with or start dealing with the grief that would mean. And the birth as well, it happened in the home. Everybody was there, even though half of them were useless. And being sick was something that people knew how to deal with emotionally. I'm not saying, let's not use hospitals ever again. I'm not saying that, obviously. There's just so many things that save our asses are thanks to modern medicine. I'm just saying that it would be so much nicer if people could give birth back home where they are most comfortable, because I don't have kids, but one of my sisters recently, more than a year ago, but around that time gave birth, and she gave birth, that was her first child, which is already scary because you have no idea what's going to happen. And it was, Corona, so everything was quarantined, and we and mom, not me, I was being useless. I get very agitated and angry in hospitals, so I'm not useful. Only if you need a doctor to be punched, then I'm very good. But she would have needed comfort that my mom would have provided her, and she had to do it all alone, even without her husband, because even though I think he was allowed to come in at some point, but he wasn't there. And I'm sorry, but most men are just useless because they don't know what's happening in when someone is giving birth. And for us it was also very, very worrying because we were sitting at home and we were not able to go visit. We saw my nephew on pictures for days, and I don't know, it's just a very, very hard, much harder experience than it would have been if, okay, I know it was corona, blah blah blah, but normally, if and what I meant to say when I started this tangent was that I saw how much it would have helped her to feel safe and just less stressed if she would have been able to stay in an element where she knew she knew our home, she knew the place she was living, and it would have made her much more less stressful. And having a pregnant woman who's giving birth in a stressful place is just the worst. So I think we need to kind of incorporate these things back into our home, so these are not going to be that scary. But maybe it's just my opinion. Please feel free to comment down below if you're watching this. Okay, so okay, also transformation from the living to the dead. I think it's a very interesting one, and in this deck it's not that bad because zombies are there. But if you get bitten, it's gonna happen. And this was one that I also didn't know at first, like, what the hell is happening here. But I think it represents us very well when we want to be in the comfort of the womb. We want that safe place we have. We want to be there and stay there forever, but life is all about growing, and sometimes you have to go and be brave and leave the comfort behind. And sometimes you need to be firm with those who are clinging to you for comfort, because it's not good for them to stay in that comfortable place. Helicopter parents and the like. I like this because it's called The Journey. I think that keyword is very, very good for it, even though it's a different system, so it's not because of that. But I also think that, this reindeer, or deer, let's call it reindeer, whatever, it's Christmas, is dead. And it sucks for this animal, obviously. But, their death provides something for the next generation. And this is a very simplified animalistic way of looking at it, but it's the same in this one, that this person is dead, but their skull is a foundation for this bird, which I forgot the English name, or if I ever knew, to raise their, protect their eggs around. And there's a new little birdie coming in, hatching. So, there's all this transformation that's inevitable, part of life, even if I am scared of it and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that. Okay, Light Sears is kind of winning so far. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm still sick. I will try to cut out most of my coughs, but sometimes it's gonna stay in. And this temperance, I think it's just perfect, because balancing out and things, the ice and the fire, and you create the steam, is what temperance is all about, creating that balance. And it's a very simplified way of looking at it, but for me this is a perfect representation. And I only have one, because I kind of liked the sad face and the smiley face, because it also, and we have fire and water here as well, because it also talks about the importance of balancing emotions out, because living in extreme emotions all the time is not good, and it's important, and it kind of connects to mental health. Okay, the next one is the devil, which is in this deck called Shadow Dance, and I think it's perfect because, how many times did I say that? If you want to, you can turn it into a drinking game. Because how I read the devil is the prince of illusions, who is very charming, and who wants you to, try and do something that's, it's not good for you, but you feel a very irresistible pull towards, and it will require a lot of effort to say no to, because if you say no to easy, the things easily, then that's not the devil, it's just something. And Shadow Dance is that for humans, because fairies or fae can do this for days and they're not gonna die, but if humans do that, they start dancing and they're never gonna be able to stop, they're just gonna end up dying. And even though most humans know that that's gonna happen, they still they're still very tempted in stories, obviously, and they have a hard time saying no. And some doesn't even know, because they don't ask around what this whole shadow dancing is all about. And I think it's a great allegory for substances, because some people, when they're young, they start smoking, they start drinking, because it's cool and other people do that, and they don't know, they don't even look into or ask around to see what it does to people. And you can say that they are young and stupid. Yes, most of them are, but some do use their brains sometimes, so it can happen. But yeah, I think this is, and I need my devil to be a very tempting person, because if it's an ugly as old horny, not in that way, but a creature with horns, then I'm gonna be like, oh, thanks, but no thanks. But you know, if someone like him would come and tempt me, I would be tempted, and that's where the danger lies. And that's why this was my second choice, because he could tempt me into doing things that I would normally knew that it was bad for me. So, you know, Prince of Illusion, temptation for sure. Also, I have Lucifer from Supernatural. He's very good at, he's very charming, he's very good at his words, and I love the actor as well because of Battlestar Galactica. But whatever, you know, I think he was more obviously in the negative side of things, as in he was more to blame for what was happening with these sort of devils. It's completely your fault how much it sucks. And also, yeah, what you believe, and you know, this is like I think it's drinks and cigarettes, and you know, it's the substances, and is there someone lying on the ground with a cigarette in their hand? So yeah, this is more about the substances. And the next one, oh god, I'm so slow, I'm so sorry. But you can always pause this video if you know, you need a break from me. The Tower. This was one of my favorite one, and you know how I read The Tower is the foundation is not strong enough. So no matter what you build on it, it's going to fall down at some point, and all you need is just one storm and some lightning, and bye bye, everything is gone. And all you can do is, if you're aware of this happening, that you can just pick a spot where you jump out of the tower and hope that the landing is going to be soft. But I don't like it when the tower cards are nice washed, because tower cards are there for you to, for your life is going to be shaken down. It needs a new foundation. You're building for a long while and in a wrong direction, so to speak. And universe is like, we were giving you subtle hints with the death. We were trying to make that transformation. You're refusing. So here it is. You're gonna get a tower. So yeah, I think this is perfect for that. Because, you know, this is a very strong and old tree probably, and can't do anything. But I like how this card shows that sometimes when you are very enlightened about the situation, or when you get clarity, sometimes you can be that force that brings down the tower, because you realize that it's not working. And also the tower can represent authority and government, and when they need to go. So I quite like that empowered witch notion. Also dragons, you know, I had to. And I like this one because this is, I think it's the moment when, before the tower falls, because you have no idea where is what and what's upside down, where to look, how to navigate things. But you know, there's confusion which comes. Maybe not before. It might be the moment when the tower starts falling. There's absolute confusion. You don't know where's up and down and what to do, and so that's a very interesting, different way of looking at. And I just like this one because you know, I don't know. There's a tiny glass and what is it called, magnifying glass one. And I kind of feel like that there could have been, you know, more. Aware of what that, you know, this tiny foundation is not going to be able to hold such a high tower. But I also love this cat, and it's like, I told you, and I laughed because, you know, I knew that this was gonna happen. Okay, so that was the tower. Okay, how about, I don't even have space to put these cards because I'm trying to sort them, so at the end I can count them. Okay, next one is the star, which is one of my cards because I'm in Aquarius, and I really like this. As when I saw this one, this was like, oh, this is it, because I feel like hope is very much needed when you're walking through a dark forest, and you know, you're feeling lost and alone. That's when you need hope, and that's when you need that star. And I have quite a few. The Aurora Borealis, because why not? It's just beautiful. I almost picked this one up as my favorite, but then I was like, but it doesn't represent, finding hope. It's just beautiful. It's just so satisfying. I would kind of want this, to be on my. Maybe I should get a print. Be on the wall. And I like this one because this is after the little prince went home, and they are left here alone, and they kind of look at the planet. Was it B52, right? That's where it's coming from. And remembering that he was here. And it has a sad notion, but I like it. Also, I like how the dragon is, sitting on this tiny, not that tiny, but not that big rock, and the road ahead, in the water at least, is there, but it's dark. You don't know if he's supposed to fly somewhere, or she, whatever. But there's hope. And I kind of like that there's a young fairy or fae here, because it's a reminder to kind of try to find that feeling when you were a child and you were able to be just so hopeful. I think I haven't read the guidebook yet, but I like that one. I like the notion. Okay, my back is already hurting. Yay! That was the first one from this deck. Huh. Okay, next one, the moon. For me, the moon mostly represents that feeling when you're seeing monsters, when they are not, and the fear that's probably mostly in your head. This is clearly a human, but when she looks into the water, she sees a skeleton. So I think that's a good one. And the few other ones I had, only one. One supernatural, because he was messing with everyone all the freaking time. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of moon cards that are how I read the moon, which was quite interesting. Okay, next one, sun. I like sun cards when it's not all about just, happiness and la la la, but it shows that the sun comes after difficulties. And for me, that gives up. The other one, the Occasion Thorn, gives up that feeling. There's rain and there's a bird flying with that flower in its mouth, its beak. Well, no, that's the other part. Is it beak? Yeah, I think it's beak. But this is also a dark forest, and there's just some rays of sunshine cutting through to the trees, and gives you hope, and just some warmth, and I just like that. And clarity as well, because you're gonna see much better. And yeah, this is more about the enjoying the happy times and sharing it with others as a reminder. And this one is more about getting clarity, because how can you not get clarity with an eye? So I like that this has more about that aspect of the card. And I really like the size of this deck. All the dogs and all the things we need to bark about today. Okay, Judgment, leveling up. Accepting that, you can only be a better and higher self, a higher version of yourself, and pretty much fly. I don't read it as, being that if you accept your mistakes and what you did before and incorporate that. Maybe I should have chosen this card, to be honest, because this is the journal Genzi keeps. This is where his records are about the ley lines and the king and everything. So this is his past, and this either could be, his target or him becoming this king, which is a very good one. So Hmm. But I kind of chose this one because it's more obvious about things, but maybe I'm gonna change my mind and keep this one as my favorite. Huh. Oh my god, a twist. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. So the word, there was only one word card that I chose, and there's a lot of them, like with these figures standing in the middle of something, but it doesn't give me the word card feeling. I know closing a cycle, blah blah blah, but I like that, this is the word finding your place, and their place is on the road together, being part of the family business. But also we have the past in the review mirror, and it also signifies that that's the past we're leaving behind, but we're not forgetting about it, because we only need to look into the mirror and we see what we accomplished, what we left behind, what we closed off. So I think this is the perfect word card, and I didn't find any others that I felt like this about, which was quite interesting.